35-30, 35-40, 45-50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
They give it back now to the 30. They're down to the 20. All the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone.
Four-man Alabama rush. Got him. Oh, no, they didn't. Oh, my gracious.
Yep.
How about that?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Three Technique, the college football podcast at the intersection of the X's and O's and the Jimmies and the Joes. If you're on the podcast side wondering, guys, you're a day late. My Monday was dreary. It was college football-less without your podcast. Well, if you're on the YouTube side, you know why. We've got our friends Jake and Moose from the OnRedshirts, and we are doing a win improvement draft that Trey is going to explain here in just a minute. But fellas, believe this is the first time we've had you both on the show at the same time. We've already had Ohio State and Clemson banter off screen. How are we doing tonight?
We only can deal with each other like once a week, so that's why, this could be a rough show, or our show this week could be really tough if we've had to see each other this much already.
Right, because for every 4 episodes we do, Jake wins one, just like our teams. Wait, what's our record against y'all again? Is it 4-1?
Thanks.
I was trying to make a Clemson Ohio State rivalry joke, but it did not.
Hey, I think Chris Olave just scored again.
Also, my goodness.
Guys, y'all might have the dopest intro in all of college podcast sports. I mean, just not even close. That is phenomenal.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. The amount of compliments we get on that for something that, Trey, you can attest to this. I spent a good amount of time throwing that together, and then Garrett produced the video. But overall, we were just trying to get this podcast up and going. We were just ready to record episode 1, and I spent one night yeah, sure, we'll throw some tracks over a video and see what happens. So appreciate the love. Truly just heat of the moment that got created, but it has stood the test of time. We'll see if your friendship stands the test of time here tonight. Hopefully the OnRedshirts is still online when we hit publish on this, because gosh, the college football world would be a lot darker without your channel.
The true test will actually be when I go down to Clemson this year and I rock Syracuse gear right in front of his face.
The wrong color orange. That could get spicy.
I'll wear orange for you, Will.
Yeah, I bet you will, but I'll get you a nice Fran Brown jersey.
I love it.
Trey, play peacemaker here, play arbiter here. What are we doing besides just having some laughs and talking some ball tonight?
Well, we got a new spin on a classic episode over here at the 3 Tech. If you've been around since the beginning, we've had our darlings, and we love how we did that in the past. We picked teams that we thought were going to beat their win totals in 3 different categories. Just wanted to change things up this year, and I got this idea from a baseball podcast that I listened to. And it's a win improvement draft. So basically, we're kind of throwing Vegas over-unders out the window. We're just looking at teams we think are going to be better than they were last year. So we randomize the order off screen. Mitch is actually going to be up first somehow. I don't know how he rigged that, but he rigged the AI that I used. And yeah, we're going to pick teams that we think are going to be better than last year. So the scoring is really simple. You get a point for every win better than your teams did last year, and you lose a point if they end up doing worse than last year. So we need to choose wisely and make sure we don't get teams that are regressing and are just going forward.
This is the classic fantasy football commissioner gets the 101.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even the commissioner.
We are already rigging the system.
Yeah, I'm not the commissioner. That's what they always say.
Guys, to be honest, I'm a little flummoxed here at 1-1 because we were talking off screen. And Trey, I don't know if this, do I have the am I on the clock here? Do I have the podium?
You have the podium, sir. If we're ready, you can go ahead and go. We'll get the board up for YouTube here.
I appreciate you uniting me and Jake, because we were ready to go to war, and now we're mad at you for being the shadow commissioner and stealing the first pick. So,
well, my apologies for that. I will make one plug, something that might be able to lift those spirits. is our presenting sponsor for this episode, for all of our episodes, Underdog Fantasy. If you want to have those spirits lifted, use our code 3TechPod. When you sign up for the first time, you can have up to $1,000 bonus bet matched. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy. We're so close, less than 2 weeks away now from rolling out weekly content with them. And yeah, this is just another easy way to talk about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. So with that being said, I don't have the NFL sound queued up. Oh well. Well, I do have to apologize right off the bat. I may have told you a white lie off screen with the 1-1 pick.
This is the most obvious 101.
The friends over at Mitch and Company will be selecting the Florida State Seminoles, who went a paltry 2-10 last season. Their over/under, depending on where you look, is at 7.5. Now, Trey, for those that listen to our ACC pod, the Jimmies and the Joes ranked Florida State inside the top 5, I believe. I think they were 5th in the ACC power rankings. You and I don't believe in that, but when we're talking about the points coming from number of wins, amount of improvement from last year to this year, Florida State seems like the obvious pick here. To go have the bar be 2 wins, and they can still be a relatively bad and inconsistent football team, and I think stumble their way to 7-5. So at the very least, I think I've got kind of a free 5 wins here. Moose, you asked if I was investing in Knowles coin. I'm certainly not. Would not touch this with any of my hard-earned American currency, but for this, sure, give me the Knowles.
It's the clear 101.
Jamarcus Russell was sitting at 1-1, and you had it. Sorry, Trey. Jamarcus Russell was sitting at 1-1, and I know I shouldn't invest in this. It's going to hurt me, but I got to do it because there are intangibles there.
I know he's not watching any tape in the offseason, and I know he's making up things in team camps and team reports, but surely this has got to pay off, right?
Hey, it's a great pick. It's the true 101. It was 101 on my list. I think it was 101 probably on all of our lists when you think about just trying to win this draft. And you're right. They could stumble and claw. Mike Norvell could get fired by midseason, and you're still getting several points from this pick. So about as stone cold of a lock as you could possibly guarantee here.
All right.
Moose, you're up next on the clock,
Moose. Bro. Yeah, so I may have pulled the carpet out from under you.
No, you didn't. We all know where he's going.
No,
we know where he's going.
I'm not. You don't know. Actually, can y'all give me a moment? I have to go turn my card in. Be right back.
Where is he going? He actually just got up.
If you're listening on the podcast, Moose did just get up from his screen. And
I thought he was going to go pull his jersey off the wall and show that.
That would have been amazing.
All right, am I still here?
You are.
Yes.
You run it up to the podium?
Yes, with the first pick in the 3Tech Pod Walk On Redshirts collaboration draft, the Walk On Mooses are selecting the Oklahoma Sooner Clemson combo. So my Sooners, Sooner. I love me some John Mateer. Oh, who could forget that we played Oklahoma my senior year in the playoffs? And in order for us to commemorate that, they said, hey, what's a great gift for all the players that they'd love to put up at their house? Obviously, a split helmet with Oklahoma and Clemson's logos on it. And it's split perfectly in the back. They put the playoffs on the wrong side. It should have been over there. But listen, I was prepared. Boomer Sooner. And let me tell you why. So last year, they
just
won
confirming you're picking Oklahoma, not the other side, right?
I'm picking Oklahoma, but I'm letting you know my true fandom is here.
I didn't know that existed.
But we'll ride with these. This was before Brent Venables left, so that might be like a good Brent Venables item for his house. But let me tell you why I'm taking my Sooners. Last year, they ranked top 20 in total defense. Okay, they could not throw the football further than -2 yards down the field. They could not run the football. The offense did not exist. Jackson Arnold struggled immensely. Everything that had to do with offense struggled immensely. In comes Arbuckle, the offensive coordinator from Washington State, and John Mateer, his quarterback. And John Mateer is one of the quarterbacks I am super, super high on. But something that not a lot of people are talking about is the addition of Jaden Ott. And Jaden Ott, before injuries at Cal, was one of my favorite running backs in all of college football. And when he announced he was coming back to Cal, it was electric. I was super excited for him and that team. And obviously injuries happened, and then now he's at Oklahoma. If Brent Venables is coaching the defense, I believe in that defense. If John Mateer and Jaden Knott are back there, I think this offense is going to keep going, and I think they're going to start winning some games that they shouldn't have lost last year. I mean, there was promise. You saw the games where the defense could just make it ugly. You think about Alabama, they could win those games. But if they couldn't get anything going on offense, you think of South Carolina where they turned the ball over 3 times. What are you going to do? So I have Oklahoma I have Oklahoma around the 8 to 10 wins this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping with this pick that they get to the 10 range. I believe last year they had, what was it, 5 or was it 6 or 5?
They're 6. Yeah,
So
6.
I'm hoping for a +4 on that. Obviously, it's not as rock solid as the Tallahassee crew over there, but Oklahoma Sooners.
It's a good pick. I think I have them in my shoot your shot tier on my notepad here. So it's calling your shot that they're going to make a big jump this year and bounce back from a good year. And I think you're right. They have a lot of intangibles to do that.
Yeah, I think I just took Ryan Leaf. So if he can stay out of jail, we're gonna have a good year. So let's please don't go hanging out in Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Stay in Norman. Stay out of trouble. Eat the barbecue. Play some video games with the boys. Listen to 3 Tech Pod. Listen to Walk on Redshirts. Don't get arrested.
I love it. Well, I'm up here with the 3rd pick, and with you taking Oklahoma, I have my 102 on the board. It's a little bit off the beaten path, but if you listen to our previews in Group of 5 season, we started off with Group of 5 previews this year. This is just such a one that's going to hit for me. It's kind of the Florida State of the G5, and it's the Southern Miss. Yes, I knew that was going to be a pin throw for Mitch. I think he thought he was going to sneak that in round 2. Southern Miss 1-11 last year, guys. So even worse than Florida State. And they went out and fixed that. They went out and got Charles Huff from Marshall. He's bringing basically his entire team from the Thundering Herd over from Marshall that won the Sun Belt last year. This is going to be a team that not a lot of people are talking about in the Sun Belt. There's so many other teams that are kind of getting more run. James Madison, Texas State, Arkansas State, Louisiana. This is a team that's kind of flying under the radar right now, but they are a bona fide lock in my mind to give me some points. So I'm happy to take them in the first round.
Golly, such a good pick. That was my 1-1-1-2. I was hoping that they were going to make it back around, and I was going to just dance on your graves. I think, guys, Ashton Genty, Moose, didn't he fall to me a little bit later in the draft? Like, I can't remember if I took him right off the top or not. But
nope, he fell to you because I thought he was going to come to me. I think it was a similar situation. You somehow got yourself the first pick, and then somehow made sure I got the pick right after you. But Trey, I like Trey is the Robert Frost of the draft. You know, he's taking the road less traveled. I like this. I don't want to make a Brett Favre joke.
Is comparing every single pick to some former.
Robert Frost is not a
great author. Yeah, great poet.
Noted poet.
You're comparing them to something, especially,
Well,
I didn't think
if I went the football route, it'd be Brett Favre, and I really don't want to do Brett Favre. Southern Miss.
That's a little sensitive nowadays.
Yeah, we're not ready for that. So, who funded your draft, Trey? Who funded your draft? That's all.
No comment.
People are asking.
Pleading the fifth on that one.
There's an indoor practice facility in your backyard now? Oh, Jake, save the debauchery. You're up next.
Oh, okay. So I am going absolute off the wall. So the Southern Miss pick is kind of the way I'm going with this because I'll be honest, the floor, you can't get any worse. I'm taking Kent State here.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love it.
I am taking Kent State. They are going to start 1-0 against Merrimack, and we are going to be hitting the over on that.
That's right.
I don't know if they'll win a single other game than that, but they play Merrimack. They lost to their FCS team last year, St. Francis. The other thing is they have Akron this year, and Akron is going to be spending all this time in the classroom because they don't even have anything to play for this year.
Yep, they're studying.
They're not going to practice. They're going to get that second win against Akron, and then who knows? UMass kind of sucks too. Maybe they can get a third win. Watch out. We're getting at least 2 from Kent State this year. Don't worry that their coach got fired because he had credit card fraud or debt or something like that.
Was
happened?
Their coach the Chuck E. Cheese guy? Because Chuck E. Cheese got arrested for credit card fraud. Are they friends?
Golly,
they must
pull
be.
There.
They must be. I had them in my first round mock. Everybody else must have, flown over that. But, that one, I can't get negative. You literally cannot get negative.
It's true. You cannot lose points.
It's a solid pick because you can't lose points. I was a little worried about the upside of Kent State only getting to 2 probably in a max situation. But
I don't know, Jake. If a team can get negative points, it'd be Kent State.
Hey, but if Jake is the kind of guy who just invests in the big index funds versus maybe us that are chasing penny stocks, like Jake at the end of the day might be holding a healthy 10 to 15% on his portfolio, whereas we've scraped together maybe a 6 or 7% gain, but it was really stressful. So listen, go in the major index funds.
If you invest in Kent State for 10 years, you will lose money. Let's put that out there.
But in this context,
yes,
the only way I can draw a comparison from Kent State to the S&P 500 is this year, and so I'm doing it. Shout out Moose. I did your job for you.
That's right. I was going to say NFTs, but yeah, that was better. I like that.
Not financial advice.
all right, Jake, we're snaking it, so you're right back on the clock, my friend.
Ooh, okay. So I have a way better pick with this one.
He's a poet. Didn't even know it. Didn't even cross his mind.
We're gonna head out to Lawrence, Kansas for this one.
Good pick.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling it was gonna take. I love Kansas this year. Kansas, I don't have their schedule from last year, but the amount of games that they lost by, I think it was 8 or less points or 10 or less points was insane last year. They were basically in every single game. You saw it at the end of the year because they actually started to put it together, finally pulling up their schedule from last year. But they beat Colorado, they beat BYU, and they beat Iowa State, 3 of the best teams in the Big 12 last year. They lose Devin Neal. That's definitely something that harms them. But when you talk about Arizona State, 4 points, TCU, 11 points, West Virginia, 4 points, UNLV, 3 points, Illinois, 6 points, Kansas State, 2 points. The only game they actually really got blown out in was Baylor at the very end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They were in everything. Lance Leipold just knows how to win. If you get a healthy Jalen Daniels, that team is going to be able to make strides. They didn't make a bowl game last year. I have a hard time thinking that Lance Leipold's going to miss 2 consecutive bowl games. Fresno State, new coach out there. Wagner, they'll win that one. West Virginia, we really don't know what they're going to be, but they're probably not going to be very good. Cincinnati, UCF,
either.
Arizona. Like Oklahoma State. There's a lot of games on this schedule for this year that teams that were just not very good last year, and 5 feels like an absolute breeze. I could have took Kent State on the second round, but I thought it was more fun to take him in the first round.
I was going to say, maybe flip the order. Now, listen, just for the folks who
but
don't
we get
know,
the 5th-year option with Kent State.
That's true.
There you go. You guys have maybe some sort of tie now to Kansas. Please let the people know why.
Lance Leipold. We're trying to make our way out to Kansas. We had an interview with Lance Leipold earlier this year, and Lance Leipold formally invited us out to Kansas. Basically, it was like, if you guys can get out here, feel free to come and cover the football game.
Yeah,
just sends us DMs all the time. It's awesome. We're like BFS with Lance Leipold now. So, we had Lance Leipold on. We're probably going to have him on again after the season. He might be a little busy in the next couple of months, so I'm not going to try to bother him. But he said, if we can make our way out there, we just got to find a way. So go buy our merch. Go do something to help us some way, somehow afford our way out to Lawrence, Kansas.
There you go.
He did say he couldn't afford my NIL fund, which was very that I couldn't walk through my man cave to get out of this room after he said that. But maybe I'll lower my price if he'll bring us out there. I might lower my price. Lance Leipold, great guy. Go listen to the interview. If you don't know anything about Kansas's head coach, or if you know a lot about Kansas' head coach and you just want to listen to him talk to wackos, go listen to our interview with Lance Leipold on the Walk on Redshirts. He's phenomenal. Was a great human.
Very, very informative. Great listen. Would highly encourage everybody to go check that out. Trey, maybe one of your teams was off the board. I don't know if you had Kent State on the board or not.
I had Kent State on my tier 5, LOL list, and there's a couple other teams on there too. But I was hoping
pretty shameful for a perennial first-round team.
Yeah.
I know. I thought I could sneak them in the 4th or 5th, but you
watch them make the playoff at 11-1, and then I get 11 points and get to screw you all over.
I mean,
Jake is the Patriots. He drafted the 5th round center in the first round. And
yes,
he did. What is he doing? And it's going to end up working.
Then the guy becomes all pro.
Yeah, it's going to end up working out.
We will retire this show if Kent State makes the playoff this year because we'll never top that.
Don't say that. Don't say that. The guy doesn't eat the poop and Florida State is going to lose.
Very true. You are writing a check I do not want to cash.
I just meant this show concept. Let me clarify the win improvement draft. We will
There it
retire
is.
because we'll never top.
There we
it.
go.
But
Good idea. Good idea.
I'm going to stay in the Big 12 here, and I'm going to go to Salt Lake City. I'm going to take the Utah Utes, and Mitch's face shows me that I'm clearing off his board, and I
That was
love
my
it.
next pick.
Ooh,
5-7 last year, guys, and after talking a lot of trash from their fan base on Twitter coming into the Big 12, they came in thinking they were going to run things. Did not go well for them once Cam Rising went down with injury once again. Bottomed out at 5-7. That's obviously well below the standard for Utah that we've seen in the last few years. They bring in Devin Dampier. I'm really high on him making a splash in the Big 12. I think he's going to give them a dimension to their offense that they just haven't had in the last couple of years with the just rotation of quarterbacks that they've been through. And the defense is still going to be elite. It's going to be one of the best in the league and something they can rely on. Like the schedule too, just quick overview. I think they'll beat UCLA in the Rose Bowl week 1. Then they get Cal Poly and a trip to Wyoming, so they should be starting off strong. They draw West Virginia, they draw Colorado, they draw Cincinnati. They do have Kansas and Kansas State and Kansas, I should say, to end the season. So a tough little back-to-back there, but I think they're going to clear 5 by more than enough to make this really, really good point score for me.
The one note I had for Utah was they can't possibly be this bad on offense this many years in a row.
No, yeah.
Bryson Barnes was a terrible quarterback. You know, everything that has been at Utah at the quarterback position the last couple of years has just been ugly. He feels like they have to at least find a formidable offense. Like, it seems like they were worse than Iowa the last couple of years on offense.
They were like, I mean, we called them on this show, probably not unique to this show because I believe I've heard it elsewhere, but we called them the West Coast Iowa. I mean, it was all defense, no offense, just a wing and a prayer. You're hoping you get field goals out of your drives. It's a completely different story in Salt Lake City, and Trey and I are very excited on it. We really talked ourselves before we got into the Big 12 and before we did those deep dives. I was kind of out on Utah, just kind of content to let them quietly fade to the background. Yeah, flip that script. The research has me hyped again. So that was my next pick. So congratulations.
They just have too much going for them as a program, like stability wise, coaching wise, to think that they're going to follow up last season with another stinker. So yeah, I don't know that they're going to win the Big 12, but they're not going to embarrass themselves like they did last year.
Moose, you're on the clock again.
Just make the pick. Flip the helmet to the other side.
No, not yet. So I'm going to stay in the SEC. You know me, love my SEC. I'm gonna walk over to the golf course. You know how you win in college football? You have length and you have girth.
Going there,
and
knew you were going there.
I'm gonna go with Auburn. Yes, I was just bashing Jackson Arnold on why I think Oklahoma's going to be better, but now I'm going to compliment Jackson Arnold because it wasn't all Jackson Arnold's fault. Okay, they had like 94 receivers that were out on IR last year at Oklahoma. I think if you stepped onto the field and you played wide receiver on the depth chart, you were going to get injured in Norman, Oklahoma. He comes now to Auburn where they have Cam Coleman, one of the best receivers in college football, and they get Eric Singleton over from Georgia Tech in the transfer portal. Phenomenal wide receiver core. So if Jackson Arnold can't do it, he's not going to happen. But they win 5 games last year. I have them projected around 8. I think the offense takes that big of a step forward, and I think the defense is also phenomenal. You know, I'm similar teams with both these teams had great defenses, miserable offenses. I'm really hoping that both offenses take steps forward with what they brought in. I'm more high on John Mattia than I am on Jackson Arnold, which is why I picked Oklahoma with my second pick. But let's go Auburn, War Eagle, Charles Barkley's. Let's go, baby.
I got called a lot of things when we released our SEC graphics on Sunday, and boy, the Auburn and the Vandy Hives were not thrilled at being. I think we both had them, Trey, at 6-6, and Vandy was either 5-7 or 6-6, just on the outside. Boy, Auburn fans, the ingredients are there, no doubt. The pieces in place to have a contender are there. I just got to see you do it. That's my only hang up with Auburn. Like, they could be great this year if they put it all together. If Jackson Arnold can slow the game down, heck yeah, that offense can ride. I think the defense has a lot of salt to it. Is Hugh Freeze a championship coach? I don't know, could be. But Auburn is one of the most fascinating teams of this year for me, no doubt.
Yeah, and they just put a walk-on scholarship, so I had to take
Heck
a
yeah.
walk-on. So,
For the brand.
Virginia just did that.
For
Yeah.
the brand. Love
Jackson Arnold does concern me. I mean, I don't think
He does-
that the
me too.
offense last year was great for him. I think he's going to obviously have better weapons there, but I think he's also, I just don't know how he's going to be able to translate in Hugh Freeze's offense. Granted, Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton are probably better than anything he's been around in a while.
Also, am I crazy to like Ashton Daniels, the quarterback from Stanford that transferred into there? I mean, I didn't think he was awful. I thought, I mean, he had, was it Ashton Daniels or was it Alec Aominer who made the other one look better? Obviously, Alec Aominer is doing really well in training camp. I forget. I think he went to the Eagles or whoever he went to.
Yeah, he's an Eagle.
Yeah, of course he is.
Wherever
Everybody
he
is.
goes.
But like, I thought he was a phenomenal receiver, but I thought Ashton Daniels wasn't bad. So say he doesn't work out, you have Deuce Knight, 5-star guy, or you have Ashton Daniels to come in. You just need somebody who can throw the ball up for Cam Coleman to get. I mean, Peyton Thorne couldn't do it last year.
All right, Mitch, you got back-to-back picks as we swing it around to round 3.
Yeah, so I think based on my board, now that the Big 12 is picked over, like a Thanksgiving Day turkey, I believe I'm going to go with a couple of Big 10 teams.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Second round, give me Washington here.
Oh my God.
I'm very high on the Huskies this year. Listen, they were dealing with so much change last year. Jed Fish had to figure out who his quarterback was. Will Rogers played for a lot of the season, but then as they got more and more comfortable, Damon Williams Jr. started to kind of infiltrate that offense. By the end, he took it over. I love him. I love the ceiling of this Huskies offense. Jonah Coleman is back. He's going to beat people up on the ground. And I'm high on the Huskies secondary. They add Tacario Davis to that defensive backfield. They've got one of the tallest secondaries in the country. Both their corners are, I think, 6'3" at least, maybe 6'4". I really like Washington. I think they had a lot of pieces get put in place last year. So I've got the Huskies going at 9-3. They were 6-6 last year, so give me +3 there. And then to start out the third round, give me the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. This is the year 3 jump for Matt Rule, right? I mean, this is what he does. He wins 10 games in his third year at a rebuild. Last year got Nebraska back to a bowl game. They really should have been an 8-9 win team last year. They got to 5-1, 5-2, and then it was like they blew 3 or 4 consecutive games in a row. It was just agonizing to watch them figure out how to win again. But this is the most talented team that Nebraska's had in a long time. You combine that with hopefully the next step from Dylan Raiola. He's got to throw a few more touchdowns, a few less interceptions, but the offensive line improvement, Dana Holgerson taking over as the offensive coordinator over the course of the year. I really like the Huskers this year. I have them at 8-4, but I'm willing to admit that I think I could be too low on them. One interesting fact I found doing some research before this, courtesy of @HuskGuys on Twitter, Nebraska has to break 7 losing streaks this year if they want to get to 9 or 10 wins. So if you're looking for a case against Nebraska, it's probably that. They have a lot of bad form that they've got to overcome in order to get to that ceiling. Those 7 losing streaks, just so you're aware, they've lost 5 in a row to Minnesota, 5 in a row to USC, 4 in a row to Michigan, 2 in a row to Michigan State, 2 in a row to Iowa, and then they've lost recently to Maryland and UCLA. So,
and he also added one, Mitch. He added there's a losing streak off the bye. So they haven't won off the bye, and I think I can't remember how many games it was, but it was in the comments where he added that one too.
Okay, good. Yeah, hadn't seen that. So great inclusion there. So definitely not the slam dunk pick that a lot of Big Ten fans, a lot of Nebraska fans were trying to throw at us when we released our Big Ten predictions, but without a doubt, I think the ingredients are there. And if they get hot, which a lot of people do, Brett Ciancia, who, spoiler alert, is going to be on the show on Thursday, he's got the Huskers, I think, going 10-2 this year. So most accurate picker in college football over the last decade. Sure, I'll ride with that guy.
Yeah, don't blame you.
Love it. Moose, what you got?
I'm torn, but I gotta put my money where my mouth is. So if I leave these guys stranded, I think someone might end up taking them. I'm a little Yahoo. I'm a little Yahoo from a Wahoos. I'm gonna have to go up to Virginia.
Yeah.
up to Charlottesville and take the Cavaliers. Listen, Boost, you're crazy. Yes, I know. They were awful last year. Absolutely terrible. They play the absolute easiest schedule in Power 4 this year, like per Kelly Ford, and they don't play one ranked opponent on their preseason. Nobody is preseasonally ranked for their schedule this year. They have Chandler Morris coming in to play some quarterback. He was top 3 in total touchdowns last year. Yes, he was a Group of 5 guy last year, but he has played some Power 4 football. You have the most tenured offensive line and defensive line you've had in the Tony Elliott era. And yes, I know that the 2 offensive tackles just got hurt. So that sucks. And I think their best corner just got hurt, but he should be back. Hopefully, maybe not. But I'm really buying in on Tony Elliott, his ability to turn this team around, go with a quarterback who actually knows him. They grew up. Chandler Morris grew up around the Clemson program, hanging out with Tony Elliott. There's a rapport that's already there. If they're going to take the step forward, it's going to be this year. They had 5 wins last year, maybe less. I'm hoping they can really jump up to around that 9 range. I think they can get to the 9 range. I think 7 to 8 is more realistic. But if you're going to be crazy, go full crazy. And I'm going to say 9 wins. I got my Wahoos going 9 wins on this one.
Yeah, that's crazy for sure.
I know it's crazy. I'm drafting it high though.
Okay, so when people ask who the next Indiana is, I think that's been horribly misapplied by all the talking heads just looking for content because, again, you have to realize where Indiana or Arizona State was, right? They were in the absolute cellar. Virginia had 5 wins, but if you're talking about a program that could be, quote unquote, the next Indiana and have a shot at the playoff, I think Virginia has a better case than, just insert 6-6, 7-5 team from last year that the big networks named. I think Virginia could actually be that talking point. So 9-3 might be a little crazy, but then again, I mean, a playoff bound Indiana was crazy this time last year too.
It's a little rich. And I think I might be going back to the cookie jar, and not to pat myself on the back, but I did have Indiana winning 9 games last year. Which was a little crazy, but that was the similar situation where I like the roster.
Yeah.
I like the schedule, and if I'm gonna go all in, I'm going all the way in. Dabo didn't have us putting the chips in that say halfway in, 3/4 of the way in. It said all in, baby, and I'm all in on my Wahoos.
Hey, listen, my co-host on this show called me crazy for calling for 6 Indiana last year, and
we did.
We ride, baby, and we're at the point in the draft where you got to call your shot on some teams just making that jump. Listen, Jake's gonna hate me for this next pick. And I'm just going to commit to the bit that I'm doing of teams that bottomed out on offense last year. I'm going to take the Michigan Wolverines because that offense up in Ann Arbor.
I really thought you were about to take the Temple House. That's where I was like,
well, I love my boy Casey Keeler. And if you take him next, I think that's a fantastic pick. But Michigan just could not possibly be worse on offense this year, right? Like you look at how their schedule shaped out last year. They still somehow won 7 games. I know they're losing a lot of talent to the NFL on defense, but Bryce Underwood coming in, even as a freshman, feels like even if he's just slightly above average, that's going to be leaps and bounds better than what they experienced at the quarterback position last year. I know he has some question marks at receiver. I know there are some holes in that roster, and I'm not saying that this is a championship caliber Michigan team by any stretch of the imagination, but after a tough start to their schedule, they do have road trips to Oklahoma, a road trip to Nebraska, a road trip to USC before the month of October is out. It really evens out after they host Washington. They go to Michigan State. Then they get Purdue, Northwestern, and Maryland in consecutive games. And the game is kind of just a penciled-in win at this point, right? After 5 years. So that was my troll shot at Jake there. But
I'm aware. I'm just biting my tongue over here because he can't say anything at this point.
Even Jake's dog's barking at you.
Well, I got dogs going crazy, so Jake saved this and give me 2 more picks.
Hey, I'm just happy that in my lifetime we have a significant winning record and went whatever it was, 19 of 21 or something absurd. I don't remember the number. When you get that high, you just start losing count.
Fair enough.
Good. Yeah, that's always good to pull the past card. That's what I've been having to do lately with our rivalry.
That never goes poorly on Twitter. Ever.
No.
But it always plays. What are you going to argue? Hey, scoreboard. Not Jake, the scoreboard that just happened, but the scoreboard from the past.
I don't know
Yeah,
if you're
that
getting
one.
ready to do what I think you're going to do, but you have been one of the foremost authorities on bowl-bound Temple. So I'm praying that they're one of your next two shots here, and that
Well,
that
I had
handoff
I
is
actually
seamless.
I actually have other teams here because I got 3 picks
No.
left. So I actually have a couple other teams here. So I'm actually taking Houston here first.
Oh,
Why? Why would you take my team at the expense of your team?
They weren't going to make it to you, Mitch. They were going to be my pick right after
Oh,
this.
I
Dude.
can't have
I am
anybody from the
taking
Big 12.
Houston. Well, you said the Big 12 was picked over at one of your last picks, so I figured this was all fair game at this
it was
point.
a setup. It was a setup, Jake. You didn't bite for it. Us walk-ons,
Yeah.
we might
Well
be dumb,
done.
but we're not stupid.
He was trying to egg me on and be like, "Hey, take them. That way I can get mine."
Hey,
No, I'm
take
taking
Temple,
Houston
bro.
because, especially when you look back at last year, the offense was absolutely terrible. I mean, they got shut out twice. Like, it's already hard to get shut out once. They got shut out in back-to-back games last year. You go out and you get Connor Wegman, and I don't think Connor Wegman needs to be any sort of superstar 5-star quarterback. He just needs to be a serviceable quarterback. That defense honestly wasn't that bad overall. They held, and granted, Oklahoma kind of sucked last year, but they held Oklahoma to, I think it was 17 points last year. When you look back, they were in plenty of these games. But the problem is they couldn't move the ball. And if you're not going to be able to move the ball and you can't score points, you get shut out 20-0 against Iowa State. You win 24-19 over Kansas State, a Kansas State team that was pretty solid, that people were considering to be a potential playoff team. You lose 20-10 to Baylor. You lose 30-18 to BYU. Like, all they need is a little bit of offense to get going, and I think they're going to be a bowl team this year. I don't think by any means we're going to be expecting them to be contending in the Big 12 this year, but I think 6-7 wins is fully obtainable for Houston this season, especially given the schedule that has Stephen F. Austin, Rice, Colorado, Oregon State to start out the season, and all 4 of those teams are already, well, I don't know anything about Rice. Maybe you guys know more about Rice, but I know they're a group of 5. Colorado, obviously, full rebuild there with Shadur and Travis Hunter be gone. Oregon State was not in a good place last year, maybe a second year under, why am I blanking on the head coach's name? We better. But then you talk about Oklahoma State was absolutely terrible last year, but who knows when Mike Gundy has a bounce back year. There's just so many games in here that I look and go, yeah, there's a decent chance that they can win, especially given how good that offense was. They bring in a bunch of offensive line. They bring in additional help. It's not like, and Willie Fritz is such a good coach. Willie Fritz took Tulane to beat USC in the Cotton Bowl. Why can't he build Houston to a contender? Houston's got plenty of money. They got plenty of resources. We see what the basketball team can do. It's only a matter of time till the football team starts to get a little bit of it.
I hate you. That's such a good pick. Yeah, it was going to be rich if Houston made it all the way back around to me, but they were 124th in offense last year. They just, I don't even know if they quite averaged 14 points a game. So anything should and will be better than that. I think it's a great pick.
They were, I had scoring offense. They were 133rd out of 134 teams.
That's disgusting.
And I'm pretty sure 134th is the other team that I picked in the first round.
I think you're right. I think you officially have the bottom of the market cornered.
Because Kent State did not have the lead in any games until the 12th game of the year. So,
and just Trent Bray is the head coach at Oregon State.
That's who I was
the
thinking
Hamburg Sea Devils finest.
Yeah, that's going to be a tricky game for him. The non-conference is tricky, but 4-0 start is very possible, and you include that Colorado game. I think that Colorado, if they get that win at home, that's a statement that Houston's going to be a player in the Big 12 and more than just a spoiler for certain teams this year.
Mm-hmm. And if they start 4-0, we're already at our win total from last year, and all we got to do is make one, and we're playing with house money then.
Mm-hmm.
The next one,
I'm going to second pick. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to jump to a new conference finally. We're going to go to the Big Ten. I'm taking USC over 6 wins.
Good.
Because I think that Alex Grinch is not there. Alex Grinch has been gone, thank God. Mekhi Lemon, Jacoby Lane, and you finally have quarterback position. Why I had his name in my head, and then I just suddenly blanked.
Jaden Mayava.
Jaden Mayava. I was thinking Rashada, but I was like, no, he's at Sacramento State. Jaden Mayava, you finally have hopefully a settled quarterback position. They lost ended up being big to Notre Dame. But down the stretch, they were driving with a chance to tie the game, and then Maava throws 2 99-yard pick sixes, which if you played that game all over again, you can play it 100 times. He's not going to throw 2 99-yard pick sixes in the last final minutes of the game. Maava had a chance to help beat Notre Dame. They do lose a couple big players, and it was Zachariah Branch and Zion Branch are gone. But their defensive coordinator, Lynn, has done a fantastic job rebuilding that defense from what it was when Alex Grinch was the defensive coordinator. They are actually starting to play a formidable defense. They're actually able to start improving. And I think this year we're going to see some improvements where I don't think it's going to be just a bowl game. Like, I think USC is going to make a jump. I don't necessarily think they're going to be a playoff team, but it wouldn't shock me if we're sitting here midseason going, yeah, like they're sitting right there in the position. You know, Lincoln Riley's got his guy. You know, they're slinging the ball around. They're looking similar to that Oklahoma Caleb Williams style where they're able to get the ball to these playmakers. The only difference is they actually can stop people and they're not having to play 45-40 shootouts.
Yeah, I got them at 9. So, I mean, I definitely have them in the hunt in that area last year. I mean, you think about the 9-win teams last year that were in that area of South Carolina, Ole Miss, Alabama. You know, I think USC could be in that conversation this year too, Jake. I think that's a great pick. I was definitely not going to take that pick next. That was, actually a terrible pick. That wasn't going to be a pick of mine coming up.
That's another one. That's another one I have in my call your shot tier where you can buy low. And if you believe in USC to make it all the way to contention status in the Big Ten this year, then that could pay off huge. So I think if you believe in USC, great pick. I'm on the fence about them though. Like I just couldn't quite pull the trigger and move them up another tier in my list here. I just feel like it's just been such weird vibes out there for so long. I know they're recruiting better now. I know that they have some backing coming in. It seems like an NIL, but I want the weird vibes to go away before I fully buy back in on USC. And I could definitely miss my opportunity to buy low. I'm definitely leaving that up open there.
I get that. And there's definitely some tough games when you talk about at Illinois, you talk about playing at Notre Dame. You got Michigan right in the middle of the schedule, Nebraska, who was already picked. Iowa is not going to be an easy game. And you go to Autzen still. Like, they're going to have to win one or two of those to at least get that, because if Missouri State, Georgia State, Purdue, Michigan State, they should win those 4 games. They're just more talented than those 4 teams. And then you start talking about, well, you need to win Northwestern. You should probably beat Northwestern. You're going to need to beat UCLA, but UCLA could, give them a little bit of fight. And then they've got to win some of these tough games. And can Lincoln Riley, win some of these tougher games?
Hey, let me help you out a little bit. If you're a college football fan, every couple of years, you need to go get checked, get a Lincolnoscopy, to make sure everything's good in there and that you can continue to trust in Lincoln Riley and his ability to coach, specifically the quarterback. And Jade Maava has all the talent in the world. So go get your Lincolnoscopy tray. What?
Where do you come up with this stuff?
So do I need to remind you that what the intern said to me in his exit interview? That I have a very unique brain, Jake. It's just, there's a reason to get some of the insults I get on Twitter, on the Twitter sphere.
As clear as mud, my friend. What else can you say?
What part do they?
That's what my doctor said too during my Lincolnoscopy. Clear as mud.
Yeah. What part do they inspect for a Lincolnoscopy?
Don't ask questions you don't want to answer.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just kidding. Yeah. I'm going to move on to my turn.
No, it depends on what. So this year it'll be down low. If they're winning, it's usually up high. So like it can be a crevice that's up high or down low.
Good to know. All right. Anyways, my 4th round pick. I'm really interested to see if I make Mitch mad again here because I'm going to the Triangle of Toughness, the 2-1-0. I did it again. Let's go. I'm looking at his face. UTSA.
Does he have any teams left?
Pick. UTSA is the pick.
We're scraping the bottom of the barrel now.
No, don't believe him. Don't
6 wins in the regular season last year, guys. And they went 0 on the road. They went 0-6 in road games last year. This is a team that's recruited really well out of high school. They have gotten a lot of talented former 4 and 5 stars from power conference programs in Texas and beyond to come join the roster. They're 31st in returning production in the entire country. Oh, and if you look at the Vegas betting odds right now for the American, they're plus 400 and only right behind Tulane as the odds-on favorite to win the American. They've just got to figure out how to win some games on the road this year, in my mind. Really manageable schedule when you look up and down. Their toughest games in my mind, Texas State, Tulane, East Carolina, and Army, all of them are in San Antonio in the Alamo Dome, in a place where they play above expectation typically. So I said it all the way back in June. I have UTSA going to the American Championship game, and I'm sticking by it here. They're going to improve bigly this year.
Remember the Alamo Dome.
We both do. That indeed was one of the teams on my short list. So great pick, partner. Moose, you're up.
Okay, so another team I'm really high on. So last year, they dropped some games they probably shouldn't have. Won some games they probably shouldn't have. Took one of the best teams in college football to 8 overtimes, and I have to go with Georgia Tech, the Ramblin' Wreck. So double up on the SEC, double up on the ACC. I'm like the Washington Redskins Commanders football team, to be determined. I like to double up on my position. So like when they took RG3 and Kirk Cousins, I got to go 2 SEC, 2 ACC. But in all seriousness, Georgia Tech
Like
won
Drake
7
May
games.
and Joe Milton, right?
That's right. This is what we do over here at the Walk on Moose franchise. But in all seriousness, Georgia Tech won 7 games last year. I have them in the ACC championship. I have them potentially going 11-1. I think 9-3 is realistic. I think 10-2 is very realistic. They're extremely well coached football team. Brent Key is establishing a great culture there. They're winning recruiting battles. They've beaten Georgia in a recruiting battle. They beat Clemson in a recruiting battle, and that just has not happened in the past 20 years for Georgia Tech. And I think that momentum is going to continue over. Haynes King is still there. Jamal Haynes is still there. Great backfield duo. And then you have Eric Rivers coming over from FIU, and not a lot of people know about Eric Rivers. A lot of people talk about him, but he was a very sought after group of 5 receiver because of his speed and his ability to take the top off of the defense. They replaced him, or they replaced Eric Singleton with him, and then you have Malik Rutherford, who I think is a phenomenal wide receiver who doesn't get a lot of talk to. The defense is great, led by Kyle Efford. They were kind of middle of the road last year. I think they take a step forward this year. So I'm pretty high on my Yellow Jackets. I think they're going to do well, and I have to take my 4th pick with them.
I think Georgia Tech's a great pick. They were strongly in consideration here on my board just because of the ceiling that I think they could get to. Not the like sexiest pick when it comes to like probability of outcomes, but man, if they do hit, and it seems like at least 3 of us in this room, Jake, I don't know your temperature on them, but
I have Georgia Tech pretty high as well.
Okay, so all 4 of us, yeah, very, very high on the wreck. I love that. The Ramblin' graphic is getting really crowded. We might have to turn it into a bus at this point. All right, well, you guys have done the absolute best to clear the board for me. Cannot lie, Trey and Jake have done God's work to just.
I know Kent State was a real steal right there.
To just pick off.
Can I interest you in Purdue, Mitch?
Trey, I was just about to say it.
You cannot. Barry Odom, I do like Barry Odom. Listen, I wrote way more words about Purdue football in our Big Ten preview than I ever anticipated. I think he could do some fun things there. Not this year, though. West Lafayette's going to be sad for one more season.
They had 5 NFL guys on that roster last year and won 1 game.
I know.
That is. Every time I look at their roster last year, I laugh. Not like I was like kind of uncomfortable laugh. I'm watching like, how did that happen in Lafayette? How?
There may be multiple All-Americans that are former Purdue players this year.
With all due respect, Ryan Walters is exactly where he belongs, coaching a very good defense for my Washington Huskies. So yes, UTSA was going to be the first pick here on this back-to-back leg. Thank you, Trey. Instead, I think I'm going to hopefully take another ceiling pick here, and it won't be a lot, but if they pop, and if this is the year, they could pay off in a big way. I'm going to take the Kansas State Wildcats here. Every time I ran my Big 12 projections, I couldn't decide between 9-3 to the 11-1 range, somewhere in there. I know they won 8 games in the regular season, so maybe not the sexiest pick, but this roster looks really good. And if Avery Johnson takes that next step offensively, this is a team that I was having a hard time keeping out of the Big 12 championship game. Obviously, they've got Farmageddon in Ireland against Iowa State to kick off the year, and a very weird start to their season. But I do like what Chris Kleiman is doing in the Little Apple. So I'll take Kansas State on the front leg. And then another team that I think could win their conference outright. I was wanting the Roadrunners here because they are going to do magical things, I think, in the Dome. But let's go out to the Sun Belt, and specifically the Sun Belt East, and give me the App State Mountaineers. I think App State is being slept on this year because of how uncharacteristically poor they were last year. And it wasn't just on the defensive side, which has always had some issues. The offense couldn't really stay consistent, right? Joey Aguilar now at Tennessee. They've got a host of new quarterback options, but I think this roster overall has more consistency in it. I think the 5-win floor last year acts as a springboard to where I think they could compete for a Sun Belt title. 8 wins, 9 wins, something in there. A lot of questions on that roster with so much new, but the running back room is extremely deep. I think their ground game is going to be phenomenal. So give me the Mountaineers to close out my draft here.
Man, I really like your Kansas State pick because depending what happens in Farmageddon with Iowa State, they might be undefeated or one loss when they play Kansas.
Yeah.
I think Baylor is that one where you look and go, that at Baylor, if you would feel a lot more comfortable that it was in Manhattan, but TCU, they can sling it, but when you get closer towards the end of the season, you can look at that whole schedule and go, I could see them winning any of these games. Mm-hmm. They're not going to go 12-0 because Kansas State always finds a way to falter.
Yep.
But
at least once.
You can look at every one of these games and go, yeah, there's no reason why they can't win that game.
Yeah.
Moose,
All right, did I steal App State from under you?
You did.
Good.
You did.
I'm so glad.
I'm in pain. I'm in pain right now. Are we
including in for once?
Are we including postseason wins?
No,
we're not. No, just regular season.
So okay. I'll hit a Minnesota Vikings here and pass my pickup.
We defer the pick, Your Honor.
Man, this is.
We all run up there and get our pick in before Moose does.
That's right.
You might because I'm
just shocked that you have left your own program out.
Well, so all right, they had 9 wins last year. If we're not including postseason,
it's 9 regular season wins, and I think that's a pretty low bar to clear for your Tigers.
Honestly, yeah. You know what? I don't know why I'm thinking about this, Jacob. So, you
have the whole helmet for the reason.
I'm all in. I bookend it. We start and we end with my Clemson Tigers. Listen, Clemson is second in returning production, maybe even first. They have one of the most tenured offensive lines in college football. They retain the most talent in terms of not losing them to the transfer portal out of every team in the country. Cade Klubnik is at his 3rd year starting. And has improved every single year. Last year, he was the only quarterback in the last 10 years to have over 4,000 all-purpose yards, 35 plus touchdowns, and less than 10 turnovers. This is great podcasting, great speaking right here on my part, and not make it to the Heisman ceremony and not at least be a runner-up. So that's the kind of talent he has. He has 6 receivers now that are legitimate. I think 5 of those guys will be drafted. And the defense is being coached by Tom Allen. He's woken up. He's yelling in the speakers every single day. We've got a plethora of talent on that defensive side of the football that is going to be Clemson of old. You talk about Brent Venables over at Oklahoma. Clemson's defense hasn't quite been the same since he left. We have a guy in Tom Allen who has the tenacity and the football knowledge to be able to do those to get them back to where they were. I got to take my Tigers here. I believe that they could go undefeated this year and run to the table. If they lose one, I still get 2 points for that. But I would be remiss if I didn't take my boys. I'd be remiss, and I think I would. It would just be it'd be a sad day. It'd be a sad day. So thank you, Jacob, for getting me back over the hump and back in Tiger Town in God's country, where Jake is going to be converted.
I considered taking them throughout because I thought they would be at least 11 wins, that would be an easy 2 points, but I figured you were going to snatch them every time I considered.
And I will, and I'm the prodigal son now, so I'm back. And Jake, there's a story. You talk about God's country. There's a story of this man who was persecuting my Tigers. Well, actually, it wasn't the Tigers. It was, but it was some other a certain type of people walking down the road to Damascus, and he was struck blind while he was on the way to God's country, and he became a follower. So, Jake, that's going to be you coming down from the evil, the evil Columbus, Ohio.
Did you just ask for my plane to get struck by lightning?
No, you're gonna
hear the voice of God coming out of baggage claim, though. I'll tell you what.
No, I'll just hear the angry airline worker telling me they lost my bag.
You're going to be struck blind when you walk into Death Valley, buddy, and you're going to be a Clemson Tiger. You're going to see a lot of orange in the background here soon.
Hey, the good news is I can leave at halftime, even though they sell beer now, and come back in.
Hey, and you can go on the field and not get fined. So we still got that.
Hey,
what a place to be. Come for the takes and stay for the biblical analogies. I love it. I love it. Man, Clemson was going to be my pick if you didn't take them. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you got your boys. I feel like I've got a solid foundation here, and I've got enough wiggle room to kind of shoot my shot. I have a couple teams that are higher up in tiers that feel like almost locks to improve, but I want to shoot my shot. And I'm going to stay in the ACC and go with the Pitt Panthers because
I like it.
This is my pet cat team. No pun intended. This is my pet cat team in the ACC this year. I love Eli Holstein. I love what they've got at the skill positions with Desmond Reed, the receivers they're bringing back. They might have the scariest pass rush in the ACC outside of Clemson, maybe even including Clemson. I don't know. They've got some really talented dudes coming off the edge up there. And this is a team that, if you remember, started 7-0 last year. We made the joke on our ACC preview. They just needed a hot dog at the turn. They needed a good old Costco hot dog in the clubhouse to fortify themselves for that back nine. They didn't get it. They broke down, had a ton of injuries down the stretch, and they finished 0-6. But that lets me buy low this year on this draft. So I'm going to take Pitt. Guys, you look at the schedule. There's a world where Pitt starts 9-0. I know it's not a very likely world, but the schedule is very favorable going into their last 3 games against Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, and Miami. Those are tough, obviously, but before that, I have a hard time finding a ton of losable games.
Yeah, I don't judge anybody for living in an unlikely world. Go look at my third pick. So I'm right there with you, Trey. I think that's a great pick.
I love Desmond Reed. I love Desmond Reed. I saw him play last year. He is a phenomenal running back, was definitely undervalued, coming out of high school. Definitely made the most of it at Pitt last year. My concern with Pitt every single year is the guy making the calls. Pat Narduzzi always loses like 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. There's always something, finds a way, loses games. Like, if there's a pick on yours that scares me that they're going to go under, it's Pitt.
For sure. This is the risk reward one. They could definitely go 5-7, and I'm kicking myself for losing 2 points. But I don't know. I got a good feeling. He went out and got a good offensive coordinator last year and opened up his mind to modern offense. That was really encouraging to me. And I trust him to run a good defense. So we'll see.
Trey, if that's your Pet the Cat pick, you need to just pivot your vowels. Go Pat the Cat for Pat Narduzzi. Shout out Pat the Cat in Sumter. If you've ever ridden in the Uber in Sumter or gone to the Walmart, you know who Pat the Cat is. Shout out Pat the Cat. So you also don't want to go to Sumter and ride an Uber. So actually, so just don't shout out Pat the Cat. I'll shout out Pat the Cat for you.
Okay. All right, Jake, close us out here with the last pick.
Let me tell you a story about an 18-year-old kid. This 18-year-old kid decided he was going to go to college. He went to Kent State. Went to Kent State for some godforsaken reason. Was there for 3 semesters. Saw Kent State damn near make a group or a New Year's Six bowl game. Made the MAC championship and lost to Jordan Lynch. They had won. They were going to play Florida State and watch Florida State wipe the floor with them. Decides to transfer. Spent his first year. We started with Kent State. I'm going to finish with Temple. Same way I went with my college career. Watch Temple build their program with Matt Rule. Go up, beat Penn State. Almost beat Notre Dame. Well, Casey Keeler's bringing us back, baby. Casey Keeler's bringing us back. We're going to start 2-0. We're going to beat UMass. We're going to beat Howard. And then there's the rest of September that just apparently is a bunch of bye weeks in it that nobody's really talking about. It's unfortunate you got 3 bye weeks in September, but that's what it is. Then we get into September, get into October. I think there's enough games in here that can at least get to a bowl game. I look at Charlotte, Tulsa, East Carolina, and then I think there's an upset somewhere in there. I don't know who it is. Maybe it's one of the military academies. They get Navy at home. Not that that's really helpful because there isn't anybody there. But it's like playing at Miami. There's a stadium, but there's no fans there. Maybe they beat Army on the road. I'm not as confident on that one. I don't really like the Tulane game. I'm not a big fan of playing North Texas at the end, but I think there's 6 wins in here. I think Casey Keeler, he's got almost 300 wins in his career. He's a veteran. He kind of reminds me like a little bit like a Kurt Signetti, just not as much of a fast rebuild. He's won national championships at the Division II level. He has coached at a high level. He helped turn Sam Houston State around in a rapid fashion when they went to the FBS level. Casey Keeler is from the area. He's brought in a lot of guys. He's doing it in almost like a Moneyball style. They're not going after these big Power 5 transfers, guys that aren't getting playing time. He's bringing guys in from Youngstown State. He's bringing them in from Delaware. He's bringing in guys that are going to help fit his system that maybe they're undersized in a certain position. Maybe they are not getting the looks at a major Power 5 program, but he's helping to rebuild that roster because that roster was terrible under the last 2 coaches. I've had some conversations with people that I know that have been around the program, and Casey Keeler is definitely helping to change that culture. I love Temple this year. I think they're going to make a bowl game. I think 6 wins is truly attainable, and that's a great way to end.
I love it. This is the pro Casey Keeler podcast, my friend. We love his work at Sam Houston. Won a national championship at Sam Houston, even at the FCS level. Won one at Delaware. The man can coach and knows how to build a program. So you might, I don't know if you're a year early on the bowl bound, but he'll have Temple turned around really quickly.
Oklahoma is going to be closer than people think. They're going to Temple will cover the spread. The spread's probably going to be like 35 points, but they'll cover the spread.
Not my boy Mateer.
Well, Moose, you might want to wander on over to Twitter and see why John Mateer is currently trending because
oh no,
his future being eligible legitimately could be in jeopardy.
Was that real?
Evidently it was. There's a chance that John Mateer gambled on games as a redshirt freshman up on the Palouse.
Yeah,
We'll see. That's a topic for another podcast because we are an
just
hour
like Connor
plus
Stallions getting caught sending Venmos to all these people.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't. All I know is that someone went and found old Venmo transactions where he literally labels which games that
sports gambling UCLA versus USC.
Yeah.
Wow.
Idiot.
Yeah. So
Temple's beating Oklahoma.
Developing story. Watch this space. Moose's first round pick might be up in flames. If you are on the podcast side, not watching on the video side, just to recap, the teams look like this. My team is comprised of Florida State, Washington, Nebraska, Kansas State, and Appalachian State. Moose has TBD, the Oklahoma Sooners, Auburn, Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Clemson. Trey has Southern Miss, Utah, Michigan, UTSA, my UTSA Roadrunners, and the Pitt Panthers. And Jake went Kent State, Kansas, Houston, USC, and Temple.
Hey, Mitch, real quick before we get out of here, if everybody could give one more, just not even break down, you don't have to, but what's your top UDFA if you still have one on your list?
Ooh.
I got one on mine.
Okay, go for it.
I had an Air Force. The reason was I had Air Force because Troy Calhoun, the last time he only won 5 games, he came back and won 11 the next year. They started 42 different guys last year. It's got to get better because the amount of rotation, you should have a little bit more experience and a little bit more cohesion this year.
Yeah, I love it. I had just raffling through a couple real quick. Oregon State and South Florida are good options, but my one that I'm really excited about this year is Hawaii. I think they're finally going to figure out how to win on the mainland a little bit, and
they're going to be on TV too.
They're going to be on real TV. No more Team One Sports app, so I deleted that from my phone today. Rest in peace. But yeah, I think they're going to find a way to win on the mainland a few times this year and have a really, really fun offense.
I had Cincinnati and Wyoming. Cincinnati should have been a 7-win team, maybe an 8-win team last year. They started 5-2 and then just fell all over themselves on the way out. Missed a bowl game. The offense is really good. The defense should be better. And then Wyoming was just uncharacteristically bad on both sides of the ball. I think the offense gets a little bit better, and the defense hopefully returns back to a Bowls era defense under Kirk's son. So, yeah, the Cowboys should be a much better team than a 3-9 squad a season ago.
Yeah, and I had and I'm trying to say it to you. East Carolina was one of mine.
Yeah, baby.
There was another team that I was on the fence of taking, and now that I'm trying to tell you about it, I can't.
No, just hoist
FAU.
the colors with me. Come on,
FAU.
Ride the swashbuckler.
Yeah, I mean, East Carolina. I was going to take that with my 5th pick when you stole App State from me, but I had to go. I had to go Clemson. I had to go with my Tigers. I also think FAU has a very, very high ceiling, but a very, very, very low floor. Like they're one of the biggest boomer bust teams. I'm blanking on the quarterback's name, but he's a phenomenal player, and I don't know how they kept him over there.
Caden Veltkamp, is that who you're talking about?
Yes,
or are you talking about FIU?
FAU.
Yeah. Caden Veltkamp joins Zach Kitley.
Yeah, and I really think he's a talented quarterback. So if he gets it going, there's no telling what they could do over there at FAU. And I mean, they only had 3 wins last year. So I mean, that's you're really rolling the dice on that one.
I'll let you swap them for Oklahoma right now for the graphic.
No, I just sent y'all a message on Twitter. I'm not going to say it out loud because I don't want to get this podcast canceled. But I'm going to boost up another one of the sports, or excuse me, Cash App things that John Mateer was sending out to help people not talk about the sports gambling. So I'll leave it at that. If you go look up John Mateer, you'll see those, and I'm trying to boost that.
Hey, can I take an under real quick, just because I want to say a team that it's going to go under their win total?
Sure.
UCF, because they hired Alex Grinch.
Yep.
Amen to that. We can all. That's a perfect way to end this. We can all agree that UCF made a mistake hiring Alex Grinch. Well, for Jake and Will from the Walk On Red Shirts, for myself and Trey Reeves here at the 3 Technique, thank you for hanging out with us. This has been a blast, fellas. We will do this again maybe next year, but we will certainly do other things with you guys throughout the rest of the regular season. Let the folks know where they can find you, listen to you, see your tweets, etc.
Well, if Kent State goes to the playoffs, we won't be doing this next year.
That's fair. So. That is fair. Trey did write that check. Thanks, bud.
Will also might delete his Twitter account if John Mateer is suspended. But you can always find us over at Walk On Red Shirts, walkonredshirts.com, walkonredshirts.com. All the social media, whatever platform, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, Facebook, whatever you decide that you want to be on. We're going to download MySpace. Will's going to drop the mixtape before the end of the season.
That's right. Make us on your top 8 friends.
Exactly. You can find us over on any social media, and you can find Will over at Walk On Moose on Twitter for all of his terrible Virginia takes.
Phenomenal.
They're only terrible unless they happen, and then he's a genius.
I will be absolutely just incoherently annoying and obnoxious on Twitter if Virginia wins 9 games. Like y'all will get tired. Y'all will mute my page.
No, I'm gonna block you.
The Walk On Red Shirts is going to be a solo show over on the podcast. If Virginia hits 9 wins, just letting you know that right now. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on tonight. This was an absolute blast. Listen, we had a fun time kind of tracking the fantasy results last year. We'll certainly be watching these standings like a hawk. And for all things college football, go give them a follow. If you're new to the channel, if you found us through this, if you were just browsing YouTube and you found us 4 idiots, hit like, hit subscribe, join for the college football season. And until next time, so long, everybody.